Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the first guest of the day. I am now joined by the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in Adamawa State, Dr. Umar Ardo. He is a former special assistant on state and local government affairs to the vice president and a former special assistant on research and strategy to the president in 2003. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's begin. They say politics is local, so let's begin in Adamawa State. How grounded is your party, the SDP, in that state?
Okay, SDP is doing very well in Adamawa State. We have formed the executive, a complete structure in the state, from ward, local government to states. We form our electoral colleges for State Electoral College and National Electoral College. We did our nominations, and we've been able to nominate all the candidates for all the seats at 25 of the House of Assembly, 8 in House of Representatives, the 3 senators, then myself as a candidate for governorship, and then we came to Abuja and nominated our presidential candidate. Then now, only last week, we have finished our short list of our agents in all the 4,104 polling units, minus 2. So we are ready for the campaign. We are just waiting for the time, to mobilize. Essentially, there are 3 aspects of winning election. First, you persuade the electorate. Adamawa people have been fully persuaded in our candidacy. Then 2, you form the structure, that is the organization for mobilization, which we did, as I just enumerated. And then 3rd, we now mobilize for the election. So it's the 3rd aspect that we are now going into and waiting for the time to mobilize and win the election. We are confident in winning the election in the state.
I'd like you to relate to us the circumstances which forced you out of the PDP, and extensively, could your exit from the PDP have been avoided?
Sorry, I didn't hear you well, please.
I would like you to relate to us the circumstances which forced you out of the PDP, and by extension, could your exit from the PDP have been avoided?
Okay, well, I have been in PDP from the inception, and I serve, as you said, I serve in the PDP government of President Obasanjo and Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Afterwards, I continued in the party, but the circumstances that led me to leave the party, there are several. First and foremost, PDP never did anything in accordance to rule of law. They have never followed the law. They have never done anything on the basis of truth, and they have always circumvented the constitution of the party and acted in a manner that is unbecoming of a political party of its type. So I complain over these things severally. When they don't listen to me, I go to court. And I have taken them to court 11 times, 5 times at the High Court, 3 times at the Court of Appeal, and 3 times at the Supreme Court. That tells you that I really did not agree with the way they were handling their things, both at the party level and at the governmental level. But I stuck with the party and then continued until when the PDP removed Prince Uche Secondus unconstitutionally in using the instrument of court in the Rivers State. Now, Secondus went to court, and we pursued the Secondus case in court until the Supreme Court adjourned the case for hearing till 30th of October 2023. That is 5 months, 1 day after the new government had long been sworn in. Now, we were pursuing this thing in order to use the party in the transitional election of 2023. But for the Supreme Court to put it till October 2023, it meant that we cannot use the party to to contest this election. So I therefore decided to leave the party and then join the SDP. Now, I joined the SDP because SDP actually is one of the longest political parties in this country. It is probably the second oldest party in the country, second only to the PRP. It was the party of late General Umar Ardo, who contested under the party, got the nomination of the presidential ticket, but somehow it was annulled. Then it was also the party of late Chief MKO Abiola, who contested and won the June 12th election, but again, the nomination, the election was annulled. Then at the state level in Adamawa, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was in the party, contested against Dr. Balataka, who was also in the party and who took the party to every nook and cranny in the state. Then in 2015, even against the Buhari tsunami, SDP came second in Adamawa State. So it tells you that it is a party that has support base in my state, and therefore joining the party is not joining a party that is unknown, in the politics of the state. And I joined the party, and we worked together with those members of the party that we found, and then established the structures that I earlier mentioned. So these are the circumstances of my leaving the PDP and then my joining the SDP, and so far it's so good in the SDP.
Without doubt, the Social Democratic Party is not known to have won an election in Adamawa State. So what makes you think things will be different this time?
Well, you see, two things. One, both PDP and APC got into position of power through some riggings. Most of their elections, they got it through rigging processes. But after getting into power, they consolidated themselves, and then they became the oligarchs of the two political parties. But when you contest election against an incumbent, but in a failed system, then the blame goes to the incumbent. It therefore means that incumbency will no longer be an advantage to the incumbent, but actually a disadvantage to the incumbent and advantage to the opposition. So that is one. Then two, things have deteriorated. Since the coming of PDP and then the APC and now PDP back into the state, things have not really actually worked. The economy has collapsed, security has collapsed, the exchange rate at the national level has collapsed, and authority has collapsed. There is a high cost of living, there is low level of earning, and people generally have revolted. Ted Gore, the founder of criminology, says that when expectations go high and results go low, people tend to rebel. So it is what happened. People are rebelling from the incumbents, and that is why those of us in the opposition, if we tame our campaign very well, we give the messages very well, we put in people to understand the issues very well, then we are definitely going to win the election. And in Adamawa State, we are winning the election because people have been persuaded into our candidacy, and we have the structure to win, and we are also determined to mobilize on the election day. So this combination of factors has given us the certainty, by God's will, that we are going to defeat the so-called incumbents. Okay, and again, most importantly, the beaver system of election, which has virtually removed all man-made rigging schemes, which are one, multiple voting is removed, two, vote allocation is removed, three, changing of result is removed, and then four, irregular votings, they are removed. All these rigging schemes used to be at the advantage of incumbents and the so-called large political parties. Now that they are not there will be no rigging of any sort, then they are in problem. Those of us who are contesting against them have the advantage because the election is going to be turned into like a referendum on the performance of the incumbents, and they cannot pass, the test. That is what gives us, the confidence that we are going to defeat the incumbents, the so-called incumbents, both at the state and at the national levels.
Umar, this is your fourth attempt at becoming the governor of Adamawa State, 3 times on the platform of the PDP and now with the SDP. Why are you running?
Well, I'm running because the issues still remain there. The issues that we've been fighting against, that is to bring development, peace in our communities, they are still not attained. So we have to attend these issues, solve these problems. That is why I'm contesting. I'm contesting, one, to ensure that we have conquered poverty in our state, which is endemic. Our people have gone beyond poverty to a state of destitution. Then 2, we are going to conquer hunger. Our people are hungry. We must remove this hunger in our people. 3, we are going to conquer illiteracy. Our people are illiterate. They cannot discern what is happening in societies and so on. Then 4, we are going to conquer diseases. Our people are in sickness. They don't get medication whenever they are sick. And people, they say that once you get sick these days in our place and you don't have money, you are just a dead man. So, and then 5, we are going to conquer infrastructural deficits. Our place is bereft of any infrastructures. And then 6, we are going to conquer ethical ethics. The low level of ethics in our society. That is, we are going to stop stealing of public property, stealing of public funds, and misappropriation of public trust given to public operators. Now, all these are issues that have been there, and they are the issues that have been fighting the PDP, and they are issues that have been going to court, to challenge the incumbent governments and political parties, and they still remain with our people. So if they are there and they say, I'm not going to contest again, then what use is it that for all these years I've been fighting, I've been advocating for good governance, I've been advocating for all these values to be entrenched in our society. They are yet to be entrenched. So that is why I'm contesting to be the governor of my state.
All right, I hear you, but then I would like you to be very specific. What do you intend to bring to Adamawa State if elected governor?
Okay, now, I said I'm going to conquer poverty. That is to say, to turn Adamawa State into a wealthy state. Now, I'm going to do that through, first, agriculture. There is a Hausa saying that they say, Noma tushe arziki. That is, the foundation of wealth is in agriculture. Adamawa State lies longitudinally on the Benue Valley, from the beginning to the end. And the Benue Valley is such that it can actually feed the entire state and entire country if we are going to put it into agricultural use. So, and that is what we intend, to do. And along with the large-scale farming that we hope to introduce and work on, we are also going to put in the related value chain, agricultural value chains, the agro-allied industries, and so on and so forth. So that aspect, that is one. Then 2, we are going to, Adamawa State is the 2nd or 3rd state in the federation with livestock. Now, if you look at livestock, it is a multi-trillion naira industry if well put into use. And we are going to put that into use. We are going to ensure that our livestock are well fed, they have multiplied, and then we bring in animal feeding into feed industries and so on and so forth. So you also know that it has value chain. itself. You know, the meat, the manure, the butter, the geese, cheese, you know, every aspect, hide and skin, and so on. Every aspect of our livestock is a multi-billion naira sector that if you develop, you are going to remove poverty. And then 3, we are going to introduce the economic aspect of economic trees. We are going to use our economic trees to feed ourselves, at least maybe even in the villages. The women will form cooperative societies to pick, you know, the advantage of these economic trees. These trees such as shea butter, which you know in Mali, they use that a lot, you know, to build the Malian economy. Then shea butter. Then we have locust beans, which you know that is also Morocco. Morocco uses, you know, the locust beans a lot, you know, to develop its economy. Then there's tangerine, there's gum arabic. All these are plentiful in Adamawa State. Yet on daily basis, they are being cut down. So we will halt the cutting down of any economic tree, in fact, of any tree, because you cannot build an agro-allied economy without you taking care of the ecology. So we will take care of the ecology of our state. We will stop the felling of all trees. We will implant, you know, more trees, more especially economic trees from the south, you know, to the north, from the east, you know, to the west. And that way, we will be able to take care of our rural communities. And we are also not going to sell like they do in Mali or Morocco. We are going to bring in those industries that will process these economic trees in our state. Then, fourthly, we will look at our solid minerals. If it means amending the Constitution of Nigeria to put back our solid minerals in the care of the states, so be it. We will work that. Let those who have oil, you know, take care of their oil. Let those of us who have other solid minerals take care of our solid minerals. Adamawa State is sitting on a huge, you know, solid minerals deposit of all sorts, but it is there under the ground and it is not benefiting our people. So we will put our solid minerals to the use of our people and build the economy with it. And with this, we are going to raise the financial status of our state. And with the huge financial status that will come, we will now take care of the social needs of our people. We will give our people education at low cost. We will give our people health care at very low cost. We will give infrastructures like roads, like railways, like dams, like all skill and power and so on and so forth. So all you need is to create wealth to get these things done. And we have enumerated the way and manner we are going to create wealth in our state. And also, we take care of the needs, you know, of the poor and vulnerable in society, thereby bringing amity in our society and reducing revolts and insurgency and insecurity across the entire communities of the state.
All right, Dr. Umar. At this point, we will take a short break, and when we come back, we will continue with this discussion. Please don't go away.